All right. So welcome in to the Fat Beans Brew Lab, where we will be, as the title says, doing the State of the Fat Beans Volume 2. Now, Julie should be joining us soon, but since she is the MVP of our team, she has been called to greater tasks, putting the kids to bed. So, although we started trying to put the kids to bed an hour and a half ago, I think we're getting close. So we're trying out a different. Hold on. Just gonna try to get everything nice and set so we have some good sounds for you tonight. Okay, so hopefully that's a little bit better, a little bit less aggressive. So, welcome in. I am the Bean Man. This is Fat Beans Brewing Laboratory. No, we are not coming at you live from a minivan. This is actually just another part of my basement. In fact, if you look to the far corner, you can kind of see in the camera where we do the roasting. So where that door is, that is the roasting room, and then this is the kitchen extension of it. So just a little space that I've carved out, kind of away from all the noise, all the chaos. It does give me a good chance when I'm tasting coffee just to have a nice, quiet, kind of just controlled space. So not all the chaos of running a house with two small children. Just a place where Bean Man kind of tune in. So, as you can see, hopefully, we have a couple of coffees here that we're going to also be tasting, along with the State of the Fat Beans Summit, where Julie will join with us and just kind of shoot the breeze. We will also be tasting a couple of coffees. Now, as I've told you in the past, early on, it's just a really good habit to get into tasting coffee as much as possible. It's really hard for you to tell someone with a straight face that something is good if you don't think it's good. Now, good is subjective, and that's understandable, but what we kind of, well, me, I've kind of decided is that before we let anything out of here, we try to taste everything that we're making, especially once I've been, changing things. Now, when we go to the farmer's market in a couple of days, that's going to be limited because the idea behind the farmer's market is that we roast live and then we deliver live. If I'm roasting live and delivering live, well, that's going to create a little bit of an issue because we're not going to have the control of, say, us not, being able to taste it. So what we're going to do with today's tasting is I did one Guatemalan on Monday, and then last night I did an exact replica of that Guatemalan. And the idea behind this is I'm going to try to taste them and make sure I use the same profile, everything the same time, the same weight, everything was the same. So what we're just going to do is just taste it and make sure, hopefully, that it tastes the same. If it's tasting the same, well then I'll give it the old Fat Beans seal of approval. And that will be, just kind of what we have to do for that situation. Also, I did a much more pared down version of our Ethiopian. That was what I mean by pared down is I didn't push as many buttons as I normally do. So I want to taste that, kind of get an idea. This is what we did on Monday. And this is just that standard Costa Rican batch. I did a big batch. I, again, pared it down considerably to what I'm used to. So what the idea is I just want to taste this and make sure nothing has gone array. In full disclosure, I don't think so, but when you're doing something, especially something new, which we do all the time down here, we're always experimenting, we're always trying to change the game up. It's nice to have something to fall back on. And for me, it's just tasting the coffee. Now, it doesn't always have to be that I break it down, cut it into small cups, and get all fancy with my spoon. That's just probably the quickest way. You do a bunch of coffee very quickly. When we say tasting, all I'm referring to is drinking the coffee. And really, we're always drinking the coffee because the coffee I make in there is the same coffee I'm drinking 2-3 times a day. We got Julie drinking it. We have tons of my coworkers drinking it. We've been giving a lot away, especially over the last couple of weeks. So along with our fancy cupping techniques, we're also tasting the coffee all the time, and that's really the key to it. If you love coffee and you drink a lot of it, well, you're going to start to be able to decide what's good to you, and if it's good to you and other people say it's good, well, it's good. So, because that's, we can do all the variables, we can do all the science, we can go blue in the face trying to, over technician this, but in the end of the day, if it tastes good, it's good. And if it's good, let it rip. So, I got everything measured out for us already. All I need to do is just grind it. So, just gonna quick grind up the coffee, and we'll get started. So what we're doing is all of the coffee that we'll be tasting tonight is the exact same weight, 8.2 grams. So I measured it out to 8.2 grams. I'm grinding it, and I'm just checking it again to be sure. Science. You're like, Fat Beans, it sounds like science is just doing a lot of the same thing over and over again. Because it is. Last one. No, that's embarrassing. Helps if you put the catch in the machine. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're going to start tasting the coffee. So first we're gonna brew it real quick, and this is the taste wheel that we generally will taste coffee to. The coffees that, when you read coffee flavors, they're linked primarily to this chart or a chart like it. The Specialty Coffee Association has their own chart, but really, it's kind of gives you a base notes. Then you can expand it. So if you taste fruit, obviously fruit is going to have a little bit more dynamic taste than fruit. A berry and a lemon aren't going to taste the same. So you might be like, okay, there's something acidy at play here, and then you'll move yourself to the citrus. From there, you might go to grapefruit or lemon. Now, is there a big difference between grapefruit and lemon? No, that's ridiculous. However, you can try to tune it in, and as your palate gets a little bit more refined, you can start to tune these in. Cupping is best done with more than one people, because as you can see, it is somewhat subjective. Now, obviously, a nut taste and a citrus taste are pretty different. They affect the mouth differently. But all in all, when you go to, say, my website and you're seeing flavor notes that I'm identifying, that's actually being done down here. A real good coffee person can identify a lot of dynamic flavors. My coffee is never going to have like 80 flavors tied to it because I'm just not that good. It's a known fact that women taste better than men. I know. Bummer. They are better tasters. Just how they're wired. So even in my wildest dreams, I'm never going to be a top taster. There's always going to be an entire gender that is going to taste better than me. I know that's controversial, I bet. But nonetheless, getting a lot better. I'll tell you that. What I could do a year ago compared to what I can do now is primarily happening because of practice. Now, another nice thing about having other people is once you've drank the same coffee over and over again, you become somewhat partial to it. I believe there is a mental block that says, oh, please be good, please be good, please be good. And then you assume it's good. So that is nice to have some other people as well. All right. So let's, next step. Hot water on it. Same concept. Trying to do the exact same amount. One, in this case, 150 grams. Perfect. What's up, fat fam? So it's just Bean Man right now. Jay Brogren is trying to put the boys to bed, so we're just going to do a little bit of quality assurance while we are waiting for the old Bean Queen. The old Bean Queen and Castle Fat Bean. Good to see you, Jill. Always. Going smashing. Right now, with the coffee, we're just letting it sit for 4 minutes. Bean Queen has a nice ring to it. It really does. I think Bean Queen is rolls right off the old wow. Anywho, let's take a look, make sure everything's good. Another minute, 30 seconds. We'll stop the brewing process. That means we'll just stir these up, pushing the browns down. We'll let them cool down. Hopefully, Julie will have joined us by then, and we can start the aforementioned Fat Beans Summit. So, exciting stuff. So, now, as I mentioned earlier, these two are the same coffee. This is an Ethiopian. This is a Costa Rican. Roasted on Monday. Roasted on Monday. Roasted last night. Roasted last night. Trying to hopefully find that there isn't too much difference between these two, as I roasted them exactly the same. When we go to the market, it's going to be harder and harder. Vibe check, vibe's good. It's going to be harder and harder to really be able to test every glass, especially when we're at the farmer's market. So we're doing a little bit of quality assurance now. This coffee here was done with a very Bean Man less. I didn't push very many buttons on it. And this is that big batch we did last night. Oh, I like that you're comparing the two different days on the roast. Yeah, so there might be some subtle differences. I'm looking for mouthfeel, overall just performance. Just really looking for some defects in that one. The flavor is going to continue to develop more and more as we get a couple of days on it. But I'm specifically in these two, I'm looking for roasting defects. This one I probably can start to get a good. I can start wrapping my mind around it. And again, this one I'm just looking for some roast effects, hoping it tastes good. So let's break the crusts. Alright, so what we're doing now is we're just stopping the brewing process. We're also trying to get as many of the grounds out as we possibly. Okay, so when you're talking about mouthfeel, what does that actually mean? So, mouthfeel is kind of hard to define. It's gross, but mouthfeel is how heavy the coffee tastes in the mouth. You can pick up acidity and bitterness with the mouthfeel. In that, an acidity would be really kind of a high punch, and a bitter would be like a kind of back in the throat. Mouthfeel also just tells you how balanced the coffee is. If it's coming in really high or really low, it doesn't have a good balance. But if it comes in real smooth, it's got a nice balance. There's also what we call the finish. There is sweetness. There's also how much better it gets as it cools. Well, I see a shadow. Is that a Julie sighting? It is. She was, like I said, we started probably, an hour and a half ago trying to put the kids to bed, and 2 hours later, it's a success.
One has a fun new trick where he takes his pacifier and he throws it across the room. Cries until you get
He's a jerk. Gets it from his dad.
So that's where we're at with him.
So, Julie, welcome in.
Hi.
To the lab, to State of the Fat Beans Summit, Volume 2. We are doing a little bit of tasting tonight, just because I got work. I mean, a place of business.
Yeah, we
gotta do the work.
Get figured out.
Got to make sure that these new techniques are proof positive.
Yeah.
I don't think they should. I have no reason to believe they won't, but when you're new, really always. I think the last batch of coffee I ever brew, I think I will probably taste that too, because when it comes right down to it, I just like tasting.
For your customer. Or tell us in the chat if the
acting up real bad. Try it now.
is that better?
No. You came down here and spoiled the mic, Jay Brogren.
I'm sorry. Didn't mean to rain on the parade.
It's alright. I think it's okay, but it should be okay.
Okay.
Alright, anyway, sorry.
So what is it that you're tasting today?
So what we have on deck here is we have 2 Guatemalans,
Okay.
we have an Ethiopian,
Okay.
we have a Costa Rican. The 2 Guatemalans, this one I did on Monday. This one was an exact same one, but I did it last night.
Okay.
So I used the same, I guess you'd call it roast profile. So ideally what we're trying to get here is hopefully they have some similar characteristics enough that we can say, okay, we're doing the same thing over and over again.
Okay.
The Ethiopian I did on Monday, and I did it a more kind of scaled back version. So I just want to do some testing there. And the Costa Rican is that big that big, not a lot of buttons push I did last night. So we have that. That's going to go out to a couple of people. I just want to taste it to make sure there's nothing funky, which I don't
good.
think there will be, but
You never know.
Okay. So let's get right into it. Julie will be here to field all of your inquiries, and I'm going to sip and spit.
How do you guys feel about his new apron?
It's pretty dapper,
Very
isn't it?
official.
Oh, where'd my head go?
Okay.
Well, I got no head.
Old vegetable beard's muy gelioso.
Okay, so first you are going with the Guatemalan that you roasted.
Guatemalan Monday.
Monday roast for the Guatemalan.
So we gotta have our little,
Okay.
just in case anything pops up.
Let's see. What?
Spit wagon.
Needs a spit cup. Ugh.
Need a spitter.
They can see that in the little camera.
The what?
Your spit cup.
Oh, gross. Sorry. Sorry about that, internet.
That's funny.
I am working on Belvarte is going to screen print me one there. Okay. Got a good body to it, which a lot of times a deep roast like that has. Sugary notes, definitely some roasted flavors are coming through. Overall, nice. I mean, I think it's very good where we're at. Brian, how many little notebooks do you have around here? Like 50.
Yeah, more than one.
You gotta be. All good scientists take their notes.
That's why he got the apron, so he has somewhere to tuck the notebooks and not lose them.
All the best scientists. Okay, so now this is Guatemalan, same one. We did this one last night, same process. So we're just doing a little.
So in theory, it shouldn't be quite as flavorful, correct?
They're just it should, because it's a dark. It just should be a little bit more. It should be more or less gassy, and that's not what we're looking for here.
Okay.
So I should be able to tune that out. That's a finished flavor.
What do you think?
Yeah, that's the same coffee. So
Same?
success.
No issues with the 1 day versus 2 days, whatever it was?
There's a little bit of a mild sweetness, kind of not sweetness, a mild like just less gassy the first one, but nothing, especially with that dark roast, nothing there.
So Jill doesn't want that. No gassy brews for Jill.
You get what you get. Honestly, I don't think most people probably wouldn't be able to even pick
Yeah.
it up.
Probably not. I can try it. I probably won't.
In an espresso machine, you could. We'll talk about that later.
So next we have the Ethiopian, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's good.
And this is different than the Ethiopians you've done in the past, or no?
No, we've done this Ethiopian. This was so in the past with Ethiopians. I like to push buttons a lot. I like to mess with the fan. I like to mess with all these other different things. Which early on, because there was all these buttons available, like if there's buttons, you got to push buttons. But in the hope to be able to have a more replicable, recreatable product and be able to do it at the farmer's market,
Yeah.
I just limit it to like 4 button pushes.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, it's good. Like
I'll
it's
try it.
yeah. Go ahead and try this one. It almost tastes like a blackberry tea. Going with the baby spoon, huh?
Using the baby spoon.
No, I don't want. That's.
Oh, okay. Can I just sip this?
Do whatever you want. So.
Yeah, that's good. It's very light. It's very lemony. I like that one.
Yeah, I don't think lemon should be in there, but
Oh yeah, it's lemony. Taste it.
I've tasted it.
I like that. Maybe not super lemony, kind of citrusy though. It's like a kind of bright.
I would call it more like flowery.
Okay.
I would think it's almost even like
Yeah.
a hibiscus.
Not sure I know what hibiscus tastes like.
Mm, like a flower. That's good.
But it is. It's very good. I like that one.
And this is the old. It's the old workhorse. Yeah, the mic is picking up a lot of sound, but you know what? Whatever. Who cares?
It's picking up here. There you go. What do you think of that? He's contemplating. You guys can't see his face.
So it's cocoa-y. It's good. Yeah, it's real good.
That's the Costa Rican.
Yeah, try that.
We've had a lot of friends recently wanting the Costa Rican. It seems to be one of our most popular. So we know, I guess we don't know for sure, but kind of our game plan next weekend is when we go to the market. I don't know how much you've said already.
No.
Next weekend we go to the market is our official first day. And so far our game plan is we're going to offer an Ethiopian, a Costa Rican, and maybe one more? Or are we just doing the 2? So we're really trying to nail down exactly what the roast is going to look like, how Brian's going to do it. We'll bring probably a few that are already roasted and ready to buy, and then the rest have available to roast live at the market.
Yeah, I mean, the market should be kind of cool. It's not something that is something that people are doing. I thought, when I thought this up, when we first started this whole thing, I did mention roasting at the market. We went to Florida. We saw someone else doing it, so it's not like there is no such thing as a new idea. Ideas with 7 billion people, there's no new
Yeah.
ideas, but they're
around-
doing it and they're having success. I don't anticipate a huge success to start, but I do anticipate a lot to learn. And
Yes, around here at least that we know of, nobody's doing it. So it'll be new. It'll be a new venture for the markets that are around here. And I think Brian's right. I think at first there's just going to be a lot of interest in what we're doing. I don't know if the crowd is going to be really into specialty coffee or what they're going to think exactly. But we went and checked it out last week, because it actually opened May 1st. We took the first couple weeks to make sure we've got all of our stuff gathered and our roasts set to how we want. So we went last week and checked it out, and I think we'll get some good foot traffic, and we'll see what kind of sales.
Yeah, I mean,
The goal is just to get our name out there, really.
Yeah, it's just to start trying to see what people want, and because that's the name of the game. We can sit here and try to figure it out from down here in the basement, all for the next 50 years. But I think the market's going to give us a good opportunity just to see some people, talk to some people.
Gotta get out and see the people.
Gotta just get.
Gotta get
out.
as famous as Gout. As Jill reminded us. I'm not even sure what that comment was made in reference to, but I do remember him making that for some reason.
So, Julie, you brought up an interesting point about darker coffee.
Okay.
Now, up until our little roasting soiree, starting to roast, you probably could not have determined between a light roast, medium roast, dark roast. To you, coffee was coffee, correct? Am I correct in assuming that?
I would have been able to taste the difference, but I wouldn't have known which was which. Does that make sense? Like
Makes perfect sense.
Yes. So
So-
I wasn't very knowledgeable, on what the different flavors that you would see with each kind of roast.
You brought up a really good point in that, what did you notice about the darker coffee? So once I started bringing light roast, medium roast, dark roast, you brought up a really interesting point about dark roasted coffee that I think is worth exploring a little bit more, because I think it's actually scientifically proven, but I'll explain it a little bit, but you sometimes just the more generalized view. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Is this yesterday?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Had to think about it for a minute. Yes, did I have the Guatemala yesterday?
Yes.
So I had the Guatemala yesterday. I was working from home, and I just kind of sipped on my coffee all day long. And so usually when I'm at work, I'm sitting at my desk and I drink my coffee fairly quickly. So I don't really let it sit and get cold. Whereas when I was at home, I was just kind of sipping all day, doing stuff back and forth. And it got cold. And typically with like the Ethiopian especially, when it gets cold, I can still drink it and it's delicious. I don't mind it. But I told Brian the biggest difference I noticed with the darker roast is when it gets colder, I can't drink it anymore. It doesn't get as good. It's the flavor, in my opinion, it changes a little bit, and it's I just can't drink the dark roast when it's cold. When it's hot, when it's fresh, I could drink it all day long, but it has to stay hot and fresh.
So what you're bringing up is that's good. What you're bringing up is something to consider, and it's probably going to be a big selling point early on. And I think it's something I didn't really fully embrace or realize until we started doing this, and that is that specialty coffee has primarily, you see a lot of people getting a specialty coffee, you say light roast, light roast, light roast. That is one, because you can taste more of the coffee. But two, the more that you roast it dark, you're taking the coffee's flavor and you're moving it to a roasted product. So think about when you cook a meat.
Yep.
If you eat a meat raw, you're going to get the most raw flavors of that meat, like almost to the point where it's not even appetizing.
Yeah.
As you cook it, there's going to be more and more, juices and water. You're going to get unique. It's really going to start bringing out the flavors of that meat.
That's good.
When you start to burn it, it's going to still have the texture of meat,
Yeah.
but you're going to taste the burned flavor more.
Yes.
So it's meat, but it's burnt meat.
Yeah.
Now, now we'll move away from the meat for a second, but
But I mean,
But-
that's a good analogy. Makes sense.
yes, and so what's happening when it gets cold is that you're still tasting the coffee.
Yeah.
I mean, you're tasting the fruity, like there's a lot of flavors left that will hold up a cold batch of coffee. When it starts getting colder, you're just tasting the roasted taste, the bitter taste, and it gets more and more bitter as it gets cold.
Yeah.
And that is
Yeah.
why specialty coffee, because bad coffee hot is bad, bad coffee cold is bad.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how much you roast it. In fact, bad coffee, you want to roast it darker because you don't want to taste the bad beans. You want to roast all that away. And when you have bad coffee, you want to get it hot. And you want to drink it as quickly as possible. Specialty coffee, it's almost like you don't want to drink it because as it cools down, there's more and more flavors. Like with this Costa Rican.
Yeah, and I typically don't like my coffee steaming hot. That's why, I make it before I go to work. I don't drink it till I get to work and I'm settled in, and by then it's perfect.
Test that. So before I started roasting coffee, what started to happen was I would be drinking it at 190 degrees, and really without the last 7 months, it's been a renaissance
I like that.
I won't drink coffee. I let my coffee now sit because when you first take that steaming, scalding, it tastes nothing, and then there's no point. It's just like drinking scalding hot water. But you get it down to 160 degrees, 150 degrees, the taste really, really starts to amplify, and you really start tasting like this one. You won't even taste the marshmallow taste until it's reaching room
good
temperature.
right now. I like it better right now than I did a few minutes ago. So Lisa, you bring up a great point that a lot of coffee shops are offering cold brew, big jugs of it, and that could be a perfect product for the market. And I totally agree. We have talked about that, and Kyle Ross, who's been in here a couple times, is helping Brian put together a cold brew recipe that he is going to come with us to the market on a few different weekends and sell cold brew, ready to drink cold brew. So we're really excited about that. We haven't done cold brew anything, so Kyle is offering his expertise, and it'll be good.
Yeah, and just to add a little element, so when we start bringing Kyle in, it's going to be more of like a partnership where I am fat beans. That's not going to change. I can't help the fact that I'm fat beans. But what?
Should we just start calling you Fat Beans instead of Brian?
No, Bean Man's fine. But
Bean Man,
we are Fat Beans. This is something we started, and it's the coffee, it's the roasting, and Fat Beans will always be about trying to expand who we can provide coffee for. Right now, we're targeting the never have drank coffee or the drank coffee bad. And as we expand, because that's, we're opening minds. But as we start going, more and more towards super specialty, not to say that's where we want to live, but my goal for me as a roaster is to be able to roast something that, mom and pop never had coffee.
Yeah.
And also provide it to them at a price and an explanation that they can appreciate that fits their culture, but also the most waxed up mustache twisting hipster from frickin' Jupiter or wherever hipsters all come from. I want to be able to say, here's something here's Cadillac. Okay. And right now, our roaster allows us to do that.
Yeah.
And I want to stay over here because these are the people, it speaks to me. It's where I came from. But as we move to this, there's going to be more techniques, and there's going to be more, there's going to be things that we need to bring someone else in.
Yeah.
And Kyle, he has a very similar mind to me, but unlike me, who started drinking coffee when I was 28, Kyle's been drinking and working in coffee since he was 14. So he tends to be a little bit more tuned to the double twist. And what Kyle's going to bring is that barista flair.
Yes.
So when we go to the market, we're going to it's a partnership because he's going to be doing pour overs. He's going to be doing AeroPresses. He's really going to be tweaking the recipe, pushing me as the roaster to say, I want something that tastes like this. I want something that does this. I want something. And then what I'm going to be able to do is kind of meet him. So as we get to that customer side, it's going to be a kind of a nice balancing act between him saying, me saying here's how here's what we can roast. Here's how fast we can roast it. Here's a quality of beans that we're at for what you're asking me to do. And then he's going to create the product.
Yeah.
Which I think is going to make a really cool partnership because I think I'm going to be able to do exactly what I want to do, continue, and then I think he's going to be able to come and kind of bring his coffee shop kind of flair to what we need.
I mean, it's kind of the yin and yang. It's you guys each have your own specialty and what you like and what you're knowledgeable about, and you partner really well. Complement each other really well.
And what?
By the way, I didn't know you had a towel with this on it.
Courtesy of Belvarte.
I hadn't seen this. This is awesome.
One of the bean heads. So.
I like this.
So.
We don't have these upstairs.
No. speaking of Kyle Ross, we will be doing a show with him on Saturday at 1 o'clock. We're going to Messenger Coffee. That's the coffee conglomerate that he works for. Messenger is a big time specialty coffee brewer here in Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean they're the biggest by far.
They're the
They
catalog.
kind of run everything here in Kansas City.
And yeah, so that's going to be, and he's got us in there, and we're actually going to go to their brew. They're going to go to their laboratory where they do all of this kind of testing and stuff. We're going to be able to go there.
Messenger Coffee supplies coffee to the coffee house that Kyle works at.
Yep.
So that's kind of the connection there.
Yeah.
That's where we're getting in.
So I mean, so they're big time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no they're no slouch, as it were. So
They're not in their basement.
no. So they're going to let us come in and kind of just explore. We're going to use their lab, and it could end up being something that they're going to let us do a lot. What this is going to allow us to do is get our hands on a big time espresso machine. And one thing I want to start doing is moving, because espresso is going to open up as a clientele pretty quick. And we don't have an espresso machine, and I'm not an espresso guy.
Do that many people like espresso?
They love it.
Really?
It's so. Hopefully, we'll be able to talk about it a lot on Saturday and really explore this. It's a whole different thing.
It's like a whole culture. I mean, I don't know anything about espresso.
Now, because there's just so many different elements that go to espresso.
Okay.
And another thing to remember about espresso is it's condensed. It's everything the coffee is into its most like condensed element. You're
Yeah.
grinding it like it needs a special grinder. Like really, this would be pushed to even be able to get the grind size you'd want for espresso. It's
Jill McDonald doesn't know who she's talking to.
no, I've never made an espresso, so you're gonna get to see it. I'm excited. It's something I want to add to the lab because it needs a special type of roasting,
Sure.
and it's a community that's begging to try new things, but they're kind of stuck in a whatever the roaster gives them rut.
Okay.
So there's a lot of creativity that can come from roasting
Interesting.
for an espresso, but we just don't have the access to an espresso machine, and I don't have the espresso knowledge,
Okay.
which I don't think is going to take me forever to get to.
No.
Well, ever to master, but so we'll get to go there and start to scrutinize coffee at a whole new level because it's going to be broken down.
Is it just you and Kyle? Is there someone that's going to be like touring?
So we rented the lab, so it's like a
Wow.
room
So cool.
by the roaster. We will also be taking you to Belvarte's setup, so you'll get to check that out as well as we go. But it's
So I mean, I know you've been waiting to do this for a little while. So this is some pretty cool stuff that you're going to get to do.
so the hope and idea is if I'm well behaved and I don't make an ass out of myself, maybe they'll continue to say this is
Yeah.
kind of cool and keep inviting
you
us
in.
back,
Yeah.
and then expand how much they have to learn to trust us first. This is still a multi-million-dollar company. They're not.
So don't mess up. Don't do anything dumb.
I mean, the Bean Man, just by looking at him, you're like, I don't know about the old Bean Man. Another thing you guys might find interesting about this show is that Kyle is quite the accomplished latte artist. So,
Yeah. So we've heard. I haven't ever. Have you ever seen
I mean,
his artwork?
I don't
Latte
know.
artwork?
I'm guessing.
I haven't.
I mean, I don't know.
I-
I've never drank a latte. I've never even touched one.
So that'd be a no.
That's a no. That's a hard fast no. No, I have not. But
Maybe we'll see it.
we'll see. It's gonna happen because we're gonna get the access. So
Are you gonna wear the apron? Good question.
I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I mean, it will be in my car. It's gonna be a last second. It's gonna be a last minute decision.
Last minute call.
Well, I just don't want to wear my apron in there and have them like pull me onto the roasting floor and make me go to work.
They think you're there to like clean up
Yeah.
before they're.
Well, clearly
Saturday
they're not
shift.
gonna. They'll know I'm not a barista. They'll be like, "Where's your arm tattoos,
Yeah, no.
nerd?" They'll be like, "Put a broom in my hand."
But you're with Kyle, and he's pretty legit. Like he knows his way around a coffee shop. So. Yeah.
I mean, I wish. So the hope is I'll get a little bit of education. So it'd be nice to be educated
Yeah.
on something I don't know, and hope we're gonna have to add one sooner rather than later. And I think that's probably where it's because it's gonna make me a better roaster, and I think there is, I think there's a definite demand when we start getting our beans into brews and start getting like cold brews. These. I think that those days at the market, I think, are going to be really, really successful.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I think, and we were told that the busiest times for the market are June, July, and August. So the first or the couple weeks in May that we're going to go are going to give us a good chance to just get settled and get our foot in the door, and then June is when we'll start the whole production.
Yeah. So I mean, it's I'm excited, and I'm glad we're bringing a little bit extra help, just so I think we can expand our mindset.
Oh yeah, I think especially with Kyle's knowledge and having worked in that industry, it'll be really invaluable to have him.
Yeah, I think that's a no-brainer. Just because I just want to roast, and I know that's so weird because I think a lot of coffee shops and stuff, they're like roasting is like it's kind of like a gimmick thing.
Yeah.
I just want to roast. And another thing, Kyle, he I guess you would say he competes. He's like in barista competitions. So I think if we get him Fat Beans branded, we start having him carry Fat Beans around with him. That's
compete with Fat Beans roast.
I mean,
that'd be cool.
I mean, how many baristas can consult directly with their roaster?
That's a very good point.
I mean, I can roast them. We can just we can roast out a couple of pounds and come down here and just taste them all out and say that's the best one and roll.
What's the weather like here in the summer? It's hot. It's not the level of hot that you are used to.
Not devil laughing at you hot, but it's hot.
Yeah, I mean it's hot, but the biggest difference is that in the mornings and in the evenings and at night it cools down. When the sun goes down, it's not bad. You don't get the humidity like you do in Houston, so the market starts first thing in the morning. It won't be too bad. It gets hot in the afternoons, but not what you're used to.
There are barista competitions. They take them very seriously. In fact, you're not allowed to, unless you win one, you're not allowed to grow your mustache past this far. So if you see someone with a really long mustache, that means they've won a lot of competitions.
It's one of the rules.
Maybe someday we'll be hosting our own. And we'll put it on Twitch. A
barista competition, do they all have to do a certain kind of brew and then whoever is the best, or do they pick their own?
So you got pour over, latte art, like just pulling what's called pulling a shot, which is just an espresso. So
who knew?
Not me, but hey, who knows? Maybe Fat Beans will get into it and I'll just start whipping up my own.
Maybe. Go in there and shake it up a little.
Well, I don't think barista competitions need much shaking up. I don't think it's too stodgy in there.
I don't know.
You make a good point.
Yeah.
But it should be...
They take their stuff seriously.
Should be fun. Do they spin and throw around the cups full of coffee? I mean, I think you're thinking of Cocktail there, Vegetable Beard. But... obvious. I mean, Cocktail is the better of the two movies, in my opinion, because it is so dumb, but it also has Elizabeth Shue, and Elizabeth Shue is top notch. I said it.
Yeah, you love Elizabeth Shue.
Can you grow a mustache, Brian? Because if you start having competitions, you have to rock one. No. This is it. This cookie beard is as good as I can get.
This is way better than what it was when I first met him. It used to be very, very baby-faced. Red cheeks and baby-face.
We're going back. It's just, as I end the school year, I just don't have much motivation to really do anything. Womp womp. All right, so tell them about the website, and then we'll...
Okay. So our website, Austin Taylor, giving him a shout out. He has been doing our website and we are almost done. We have pretty much all of the content created and everything. It's actually live on the site. The last thing we're doing is getting the actual roasts with the prices and the shipping and everything set up. So we are going to meet with Austin this weekend and finalize everything, and it should be set to go.
Yeah. I mean, it's I think Saturday will be like the official day that it's
Yeah.
something.
I mean, it's live right now. You can't order from it, but we have it all built, and we just have to make that part public. And
Yeah, there's still some hoop jumping I'd like to do as far as just getting it all kind of the way that we
Right.
want it. But
And I mean, it's nothing fancy. It's basic. It it just gives a little information about us, what we're doing, the types of roasts that we're selling, and
yeah,
and then it has information about the market where you can come find us.
but I will tell you, I've been getting better at Photoshop, so look out, world. Look out.
Yeah, Brian apparently has free access to Photoshop and has been delaying all of his homework to play around in Photoshop.
It's fun.
Yeah. So if you see some wacky pictures coming out to our Instagram, that's why.
That's right. Can't stop this guy. You can't stop the Bean Man when he gets behind the brush.
Yeah, I don't even know what's gonna come out of it next. That outer space one, all him.
It's probably the most popular
I
Instagram
know,
photo we've ever done.
people liked it.
so.
What can you do?
So if you haven't seen that, check that out.
Yeah, so website coming. Website for us, I think, is going to be a big step, because then we can start shipping easier, start taking orders from people outside of our little circle that we just are texting and sending messages through Instagram. This will expand everything a little bit. So our goal was to have it ready by the time we went to the market. So we've got another week to finalize everything, and we should be good to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think we definitely. It's nice just to come here and kind of put things into perspective, because it's been a wild couple of weeks just putting everything together. I think we've got a lot more time to be humbled, but that's good. That means we're learning. So
Yeah, vegetable beer. That don't give him any ideas. Yeah, that especially that, like, now Gus is gonna see the pictures and start giving you ideas too. Oh,
hey man,
this could get out of hand.
it's all about at this point we're just defining a brand. We don't want to get caught up in like we're all about oak and glass and
Yeah,
light
no.
bulb. Like sometimes you gotta put a Velociraptor in some stuff, man.
Sometimes you just gotta get people's attention.
I mean, like I said, we're trying just if nothing else, we're trying to have some fun. So
Yeah. That's funny.
I don't know how much fun coffee can be, but I think it's got some room for a little bit of fun.
A little bit of fun. Gotta make it.
Got to make it fun. Well, I guess. But all in all, it's been a pretty successful show. I'm glad we get down here. Really, if nothing else, I'm glad I got to test this coffee. I feel very
All
comfortable.
good options.
I feel very comfortable with what we're sending out.
All good options.
And even though we made that comment about it, this Guatemalan holds up really well cold. I think
it's just, I'm used to the Ethiopian where it gets cold and it almost gets even better, It's just, it's strange like that.
yeah, that's almost better. That's,
I know.
That's like a
It's
different.
crazy.
It's like a different cup.
Yes, it's like you're drinking something brand new.
It's like So
Yeah.
if you're wondering why am I paying so much money for specialty coffee, because
That's
it
why.
gets better when it gets cold.
You can drink it cold.
And that's I think really what is blowing my mind this experience is I'm like, okay, I'm roasting coffee now. I'm going to be drinking so much more coffee, and I drink almost less coffee, especially when I'm drinking light roast, because I like to slow it down and really
sip on it.
experience it's enhanced the culture. So that is good. Well,
Big week this week for you.
yeah,
Big
I was so Saturday at 1:00
Yay.
Central Time, we will be at Messenger Coffee House. Check them. Please check them out. They
Yeah.
are legitimate. They are the kind of the Onyx coffee of Kansas City. So
Yeah.
for them to let my
big.
bunk
Yeah.
behind
It's a
in
big
there
thing.
is pretty cool. It should, if nothing else, provide us with some interesting content, which is really that's all that matters with the
That's all we're
show.
going for.
I'll be back to roasting on Monday, and luckily I think we are picking up a little bit. We're getting some more orders,
Yep.
so it does kind of help me just have some excuses to roast.
So Jill, you've been getting people at work asking to try the beans. Yes, soon they will be able to go on and order from the website.
Yeah. So I mean, here's the thing, and I guess since we're all buddies here, the shipping, I guess, is the kind of the parallel
That's
to
kind
my
of
mind.
the only hurdle we're having.
It's so, and I'll give you guys the bean secret. If you order small, like if you just want one bag, order 12 ounces. It'll keep it under a pound, and the shipping is going to be about $3 or $4. If you go up to 16 ounces, it jumps up to like $8. At that point, if you like want to buy like 2 pounds, it's like still
Basically,
$8.
It's like the same.
So
yeah.
either or, if you just want one bag, stick with I would say the 12 ounce is the best value
Yeah.
if you're ordering online, just because of shipping. If I'm talking directly to like Texas. Now, if you're in Kansas City, best value is the 16 ounce. Get that.
Yeah.
It's easily the best value. But if you're ordering across the nation, which I know a lot of you that come to watch your coffee get roasted on Twitch are doing, well then I would say definitely the best way to run is the 12 ounces, or order like 2 or 3 pounds. And at which point, if I see that you ordered 2 or 3 pounds, I might give you a little kickback. Well, kickback.
Yeah.
So we're still working on what kind of incentives we were able to offer as far as that goes.
Yeah. Getting that figured out.
Yeah,
But-
good tip. Yeah. So,
But yes, Jill, tell them soon.
and I think I think they'll like it. I think they won't hate it. I think they'll enjoy it.
Brian
So,
has been converting everyone at his work.
yeah, I've been really.
You've been supplying your school with a lot of coffee.
Dude, I feel like the
recently.
pusher man in there. Like everyone's like, "Hey, what do I owe you?" Like, "Oh, you don't owe me anything." And in the back of my mind, I'm like, "No, I'm the pusher." Like, you just out there getting the kids hooked.
Yeah.
People are like, I've never tried. Like, I see West Owl for Life is in here, and he's like, I've never tried it. I'm like, oh, I'll get you. Don't you worry, I'll get you nice and tuned up.
How you get
so yeah, you just
Bring him in.
you build them. I mean, that's the first rule on the streets.
Yeah.
You got to go out there and build your clientele. So,
Right.
and that's really all that mattered. I think West Owl for Life. I think I know how to get you. Now I haven't approached him too hard. I haven't hit him with the hard sell yet, but I
That's how it starts. That's how it starts.
got my eyes set on you. But so we did some tasting, which is per usual when Julie shows up. It's nice to have a partner to tell you that it tastes like lemon, because I never want things to taste certain ways until they do.
Oh, yep. they're
It does
good.
taste like lemon.
It does.
But we'll be back. So Saturday at 1 o'clock, we'll be at Messenger Coffee with Kyle Ross doing espresso. So you can really see me out of my element. So maybe I'll make
That'd
a
be
mess. But then I'll be back to roasting per usual on Monday, and it's good. For those of you really worried about my academics, I did finish my paper. I did not come here.
I have to go proofread it now.
Yeah, 'cause I
That's
have
my job.
dyslexia.
Well, it's always good to have someone proofread a paper
Yeah,
before you submit
yeah.
it.
I mean,
That's
what-
that's just smart.
that's why I married her. Would have never finished college unless I met you.
Yeah.
My grades were on a pretty exponentially low decline. Then I started dating you, and
I
Dean's
should,
List.
I should probably have 2 degrees.
Yeah, I mean, you at least get like part of my bachelor's and some of my master's. That's for sure. Like, that's a no doubter. Yeah, I would not be where I am. So
All right, thanks for joining, everyone.
yeah, it was good seeing you guys.
And
Good kind
hope-
of shooting the breeze. and-
Yeah, hope you guys can tune in on Saturday.
Yeah, if you can. If not, check it out on the replay. Should be pretty cool. We'll also get to see Belvarte selling her art, so supporting another local artist in their endeavor to make like one millionth of an Instagram influencer. But hey, we're making something. So
We've all got goals.
America was made by makers.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'll check out the replay. Yep, and that's all we ask.
Yeah.
But I'll see you guys when I see you. But more importantly, as always, staying positive, not going out there kissing puppies and thinking everything's bubbles and rainbows, but just pushing forward. As we get to the end of another week and we're getting nicer weather, it's easier. But stay just moving forward, doing something new every day. Life's a long time. Just keep doing stuff. And I think that's kind of what Fat Beans Coffee is about. Is we are by no means coffee experts, but we're willing to try some stuff. So if you need a little help, as always, liquid motivation right here. We pump it out by the pound. So you just let me know. But I will see you guys next time, and more importantly, I'll see you on the other side. Happy Nurses Week, Julie.
Happy Teachers Week, Brian.
Woo woo.
And Jill.
And Jill.